already noticed my friend on my shoulder. This is my little buddy Charlie the chameleon, and that is what we're going to be making today. You will need a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be colored paper. White paper is fine. It just needs to be a rectangle. You'll need a glue stick or some type of glue, and you will need scissors, and that's it. If you'd like to decorate your paper first, you'll need markers or crayons or paint, or you can just leave your paper blank. I made Charlie and decorated with marker, but here is another one that is just plain paper. These guys are so fun, and I think you're really going to enjoy them. I also encourage you to look up some facts about chameleons. They are such interesting animals. They're very unique. They have some really unique features. Another thing you could do is look up some books. This is one of our family's favorite books. A nice story about a little chameleon. So, I hope you'll follow along. Okay, let's start to make our 3D paper chameleon. Again, yours can be a lizard, but I think chameleons are pretty awesome. So mine will be a chameleon. So before we begin, we're gonna review the lines and designs that we know, because we're gonna fill this paper with a pattern or a design, okay? So this is just a quick review because all of my classes should know these. We've talked about these in all grade levels. So the most basic line would be a straight line. So we know that a straight line can be vertical, horizontal, or diagonal. We can do zigzag. We can do wavy. We call this also wavy. And fancy wave. If you flip this one upside down, we call that a bumpy line, because if you rub your finger over it, it's like bumps. We also can do a dashed line, like you would find in the middle of the road or maybe on your green writing paper. Similar to that is a dotted line. We could do a looped line like you'd find on a roller coaster. Whoa, whoa. You can do swirls or spirals. I love these. And we call this one a castle line. And I think that's pretty good for now. If you have other ideas, that's great. You could always use shapes or make a repeating pattern using shapes or some of these lines. So now we're going to design our paper. I'm using a piece of construction paper. If all you have is white copy paper, that's fine. But if you have something a little thicker, that might work better for all the folding and cutting we're gonna do. Again, if you just have white copy paper, that is fine. The paper just needs to be a rectangle, okay? So I'm going to make a design on my paper and then we'll get started. folding. So I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to fold it in half. So you could call this a hot dog fold. So I'm folding it lengthwise here. Okay. Then I'm actually going to use a ruler or a straight edge to draw a line from this corner diagonally down to the bottom corner. And I don't have a ruler around me, so I'm just going to use the edge of this paper and just do the best I can, since it's not quite long enough, but that's fine. We're working from home, we're working with what we have here. Okay, and now I'm going to cut on that line, keeping it folded. All right, now I have 3 pieces. This piece is still together because it was folded. Set these to the side. I will need these later. Now I have a big triangle. Flip it over. And I'm going to fold this outer edge. I'm going to fold it in to meet the line in the center. If you guys like making paper airplanes, this might feel like a similar step that you use when you're making an airplane. You know, we try to keep the nice, straight, crisp folds. Okay, and do the same thing on the other side. Let's see what works better here. It's hard to get the paper. There we go. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to open it up, and you can see, it's kind of hard to see probably on the video, but I now have 3 lines. Okay. I'm going to fold it up, and I'm going to make small cuts that go from the fold. So again, if I open it up, here's my fold. I'm gonna make small cuts that go from the fold and stop at this line that I made by folding it, okay? Again, it's hard to see. Here's my line where I'm stopping, and I'm gonna keep it folded the whole time. I'm gonna make little cuts from the fold, and I'm stopping at the line. It's important that you stop at the line, not before the line and not after the line, because we want them all to stop kind of on the same path, right on that line. My cuts are about maybe 1/2 inch or something. It gets tricky when you get down to the tip, but just make sure you look at that line and watch your scissors. Okay, so these folds are what's going to make my chameleon's back bend. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up. It should still be connected. And now I need to build his body. All right, so I'm going to put glue with my glue stick. With my glue stick, couldn't get it open. On here. Just on one flap on the designed part. Then I'm going to glue this to this. Okay, so the trick is that you have to kind of keep it open still. So it's like you're gluing sort of a triangular cone situation here. So if you can see, like that. So I didn't smush it down, I kept it open, and you might want to even take your fingers and put them in there to press it down. I'm gonna actually take this marker and sort of stick it in there to press it down. Right here is a problem, it's not gluing. So I'm just gonna kind of gently press down without crunching the little mountains I have. Just give it a minute to dry and really stick on there. Okay, and then that should make your chameleon's back bend. Pretty cool so far. Now we need to add a head and arms and legs. Okay, we already have the body and then our tail. I love it. So we're going to get our paper, our extra pieces, and we need a head. So I want to make it so I have a mouth that opens like this. All right, so I'm gonna use this here and I'm going to fold this. And I know that chameleons have a triangular head. So I'm gonna kind of use this as a guide to make my head. And there we go. That's a pretty good size. I don't want to make it too big because I need the rest of my paper to make my arms and legs. If you make a mistake and you don't have any of your patterned paper left over, that's fine. You can just use any other paper. They don't have to match the body. So I'm gonna put glue just on these little teeny tabs that are sticking out. And I'm going to glue my head on. And now I will work on my arms and my legs. All right, I'm gonna take these papers and I'm going to put them so the pattern side is facing each other. And now I'm going to cut them so I have 4 pieces that are kind of like the biggest pieces I can use out of this paper. Okay, now I'm going to, so I have these 2 sections, I'm going to put them on top of each other. And I'm going to make my leg. And here is an example of a leg. So we need the kind of an L bend. All right. So that looks like a good fit there. So if you want to make a template on another piece of paper, you can do that and then trace it, or you could just go for it. It's up to you. Okay. Since I have this, I am going to go ahead and trace it. And see, that's the L bend I was talking about. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if we look at pictures of chameleons, their arms and legs do bend like that. So now I'm going to cut it out. I'm actually cutting all 4 pieces of paper together. If this is too much for you, you can do it one at a time or groups of 2. And I'm really making sure to pinch the papers together so they're not moving around. That way they're all evenly cut. And when I'm cutting, I'm moving the paper with my left hand, and I am keeping my right hand in the same spot. I'm just lifting my thumb and slowly cutting as my left hand moves the paper around. It makes it a lot easier. So here they are. And on a chameleon, the way that we attach the arms and legs, the joint in them where they bend, they sort of bend towards each other. So for my back legs here, I'm gonna do this. So they're bending towards the front. And for my front ones, they are gonna be bending towards the back. Okay, so see how these are bending backwards and these are bending forward. So I'm going to put a little spot of glue and glue that down. And one thing we're missing, or two things we're missing. We're missing our eyes, and chameleons are known for their awesome cone-shaped eyes. So I'm not gonna make 3D eyes. You sure could. That'd be a good challenge for you to make some three-dimensional eyes. I'm just gonna make some circles here to glue on. We have nice big eyes. If you have some googly eyes at home or something, that'd be fun to add as well. And I'm gonna add lines coming out, because if you look up a chameleon, if you look at a close-up view of a chameleon, their eyes are just so interesting and makes them really unique. Okay. And last but not least, we need a tongue sticking out. And if I had another piece of paper that was a color, you could even use a piece of a magazine, you could use a pipe cleaner, something that will stick out, because we know the other thing that makes chameleons super interesting is their crazy tongue. So you can stick his tongue out. You could even add a little bug on the end of his tongue. Okay, so here is my chameleon. I love this project. I think that these guys are so cool. And you can make a whole family of chameleons with all different colors and patterns. And I really look forward to seeing some of your projects after you make them. Please share. Thank you.